So, this is Steve from the back. This is another odd rant. So I guess I'm just gonna get right into this rant. So, I was just, it's weird. Of all things, I was actually online and, I was thinking, like, obviously, you've seen, like, I've done Mugen, Mugen playthroughs or Mugen gameplay videos, survival mode, arcade mode, and I've been thinking of trying to maybe find a different game to do footage of. And now I'll admit I'm a huge fan of Virtual on Mars, whether that's the original one that was like in the arcade or on Sega Saturn, or I think they have a PC version of the one that was in the arcade and on Sega, and then there's the PS2 version, and I don't even know for the life of me how I would even get my hands on a PS2. Like, dude, I don't even know how I'd find a copy of Virtual on Mars or how to stream it if I did find it. But ideally, if I didn't, obviously I'm going to start doing more research about that, because I want to have another game that I'm going to do, create footage of, other than just friggin' Mugen. I don't really play video games too much anyway, but just sometimes, just to keep content being pumped out, no pun, sometimes I play Mugen for that reason, but I want to change it up. So I happen to be on Google, and so I run across this picture from the Seed of Chucky, and I'm thinking, like, it's a picture of Chucky's son, and I'm thinking, like, well, okay, this looks weird. I've seen the movie before, but, like, it's different when there's like actual still photo from something, and you're just looking at it and you're observing how strange the thing looks. And I was thinking, it actually kind of reminds me of myself in certain regards, like, because it's just weird. He's just a weird character. It's a weird character, and honestly, all the characters on that movie are weird. And I would say, obviously, they're classically what you would call, quote, demonic characters. So they're very demonic. They're murderous too. They're violent. They're demonic. And that's the gimmick, because all it is a gimmick when it comes to movies. They're just characters, not real people. But the thing that I wanted to also speak on is those of us that are real people, and obviously we're not going out hacking people up, obviously, or if you are, you just haven't been caught yet. If you are doing something like that, good luck, with that. But the thing is this. I remember growing up as a child and always knowing that I was different since I was like a little kid. Always knowing that, like, on a spiritual level, most of the people around me just weren't the same. I just intuitively knew that, like, they're just different. It's almost like they just have a different energy about them. And they just didn't have the same type of energy. It was similar. Obviously, we all had similar attributes. And I grew up in a household with a brother and a sister, and we all have similar attributes. And we all have, like, certain types of our humor and stuff that we get. Other people sometimes just don't get. They don't get the type of humor. They don't get, like, what's the punchline, We had a bunch of inside jokes growing up. It was hilarious, but I knew that I was always the one that stuck out, and maybe not really even to other people. At least I knew. The thing is, maybe some other people would not really pay me any mind, because they just weren't smart enough to really be paying enough attention to really pay me mind. But I always knew, I always knew that I was a very demonic child since birth. And it's funny that I'm even speaking about this. This rant might be long-winded. I don't know. It may be long-winded. Another thing that made me think of this was, like, I was dreaming last night, and I'm known to have, like, very, very vivid dreams, right? Like, very vivid, lucid dreams. And so I'm dreaming, and first off, I wake up, and when I wake up in this dream, I wake up in a hospital, and this is kind of hard because I'm trying to explain to you my dream, but at the same time be able to be focused enough to actually get to the actual real point in this video. So bear with me, okay? So I wake up in this dream, and I'm in a hospital, and I can tell it's a hospital because the way people are dressed, the way the building is structured, a lot is like foggy. At the time, I don't really know it's a dream yet, but the way that I realized it was a dream was because I saw someone, and to me they stood out as being pretty darn deformed, if you could call it that. And not only just deformed, but they looked very, like, sticky and slimy. Their skin had a slimy, like that stupid Hollywood sort of, like, slimy glaze they like to throw on everything. Like, when they have, like, a monster or something or whatever it is, they always, I don't know what it is, they always think it makes it look more real. I'm not saying it does make it look more real. It just looks greasy and slimy, but they always put these like glazy, slimy overlays over things and make it look all like it looks like a darn snail, like it looks sticky. And that's how this person looked. This person looked like really, like, sticky, and slimy. And I'm thinking, why is this? I can't remember really if it was a man or a woman. I kind of got the sense that it was a woman, but this individual was so kind of gross looking and weird that it was hard for me to really tell if it was a man or if it was a woman. All I know is they were very, very, like, fat. They had the shape I would describe as having a body shaped like a potato, maybe. I don't know if I could really pick out much hair on their body. They had on some type of robe or some type of shirt or something. It was either like a light blue or a white color. They had blotches all over their skin. It was a lot of discoloration. It looked swollen, it looked slimy or sticky, and then when they stuck their tongue out, the thing that got me was when they stuck out their tongue was probably, I would say, darn, maybe, I would just estimate maybe like 6 times the size of a normal person's tongue, and then it was like very, very pointy and long, and at that point I knew I was dreaming, because I'm like, there is no way in hell that this is real. I was like, no, there's no way this is real. At that moment, I already knew I was in a lucid dream because it just clicked. Everything just clicked, and I was like, this is not real. This is not a real thing. And I'm thinking, how'd I get here? What is this? So, my whole thing was I was afraid that what was going to happen was that I was going to touch a surface in there that had some of that slimy stuff on it and catch whatever that person looked like they had, because they looked gross. Like, they looked like they were diseased, and like they probably didn't have long to live, the way they were looking. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to touch anything in here. And sure enough, because it's a lucid dream, the more that you focus on something, the more you start to move in that direction. So I touch someone's clothes by accident because they bump against me. I feel moisture on my hand. I'm like, oh, I got this sticky shit on my hand. It's over. I'm like, here we go. It's going to turn into some type of body horror type of themed dream. So as soon as that happens, basically I start to morph myself into another dream, and then I end up waking up in what looks like, I would say it was a wooded area. There was a lot of water. There was a lot of mud. There weren't that many trees. Most of the trees were in like the distance. And I started dreaming about, honestly, I started dreaming about those crawler people. But the thing was, for whatever reason in the dream, they were tiny. They were like about the size of I don't know, maybe a pack of Oreos. You know, not a pack, but like a row of Oreos, like very tiny. I don't know why they were so small, but they were teeny tiny little things that you could pick up. You know, you could literally pick them up. And for whatever reason in the dream, I tried to pick some of them up because they looked like they were drowning, or they looked like they were having trouble moving through water. You know, like a small puddle, but this puddle was deep enough to where for them it seemed like a lot of water. So I kind of tried to like start pulling them out of the water so they could easily just get out of the water, if that makes sense. But the thing is, after that, I felt like I was drifting off into another stage of a different dream again. So then this last one, you know, in this last one, I felt that I was actually underwater, but the thing was that I kind of panicked because I didn't expect to be submerged in that much water that fast. So I tried to close my eyes because it was just too overwhelming, everything happening at once. So at that point, I realized that even though my eyes were closed, that all I could see in front of me was this kind of web-like, it looked like mucus-colored green, and it was kind of webby-looking and weird, and I really didn't understand what it was, and I couldn't see anything on the other side of it, but it looked like you could see through it. It looked like there was only light coming through the other side, and honestly, at that moment, I really didn't even know what was happening. I didn't know if I was dreaming. I didn't know if I was dead. I didn't know what was going on. It confused me because I've never seen anything like this before. I talk about dreams a lot, and I've seen things in dreams. I've had instances where I believe I've had outer body experiences before, but I've never seen anything like this before. Okay, so I don't know if I don't know if this wasn't just a dream, because I think it was just a dream, and I honestly believe that because I was under covers and had a jacket on, that and really wasn't moving. Even though I wanted to move, my body wasn't moving. In the dream, it ended up me dreaming about being encased in this weird sort of like mucusy sort of green bubble, and I just really couldn't get out of it. You know, I tried everything. I tried like wiggling around, I tried scratching at it, I tried sticking my fingers through it, I tried to see if I could get out of it, and I just couldn't get out of it, like any possible way. It was literally like if you were encased in a rubber tire made out of something slippery and slimy, and you tried to push against it as hard as you wanted, and just went nowhere, you know. So after I struggled with that, and I was really pissed off because I could not close my eyes in the dream, and even if I tried to close my eyes, I could still see through my eyelids and see exactly what was in front of me, and it was just this weird stuff that I can't really describe. You know, this green stuff. So then I woke up. You know, I literally woke up. So, and realized that I was under the cover, you know, cover over my face, jacket over my face, started to move, you know, actually move around and stand up or whatever. And so the point I'm trying to make about that is it made me think about birth when I woke up, because I thought of like, what is it like to be a child in a womb, and you could thrash around, you could move, you could try to move around, and you're not even really intelligent that much at that point, but the fact of that you just can't leave, you know, you just can't leave. So it made me think, you know, like when I actually was born, and I was born in 1988. This is gonna make me laugh, but this probably wouldn't be funny to my parents. But to me, it's hilarious. I look at all the movies that they were coming out with, and it was all horror. It was horror. It was extremely demonic. A lot of these movies were demon centered, or they were monster based, or whatever. And it was just very, very demonic, which is not a bad thing for me. It's a good thing for me. I don't know about for them. The thing was, I laugh and I'm thinking like, geez, if I had been born in an earlier time period, there was no internet, there was no Hollywood movies like this. Honestly, a person like me probably would go insane and would have nothing to relate to, would have no one to relate to. Black, I'm already born black, so who the hell knows how that would work out, Imagine me being born in a time where people were racist, if not even introduced to black people on a large scale at all. It's a horrible mixture, Life sucks already, but I can't even imagine how horrible it would be if I was born a very wild, crazy, demonic person in some weird time period where there's no internet, no one knew about anything, no one accepted anything, just literally no one would accept anything back in certain times. You wouldn't accept a person for having, I don't know, being born with a friggin' black tooth. It's like anything out of the norm and automatically, it's a big deal. Not now. Now it's the opposite. Everything is freaky now. Everything is freaky. Everything is fringe. Everything is weird. Honestly, there's stuff now that to me is weird. There's people where I look at them and I'm thinking like, what in the hell is like this? I don't even, honestly, I'm like, I don't even want any parts with that either. I don't want no parts with it. Live your life, but I'm not part of that. That anyway. So. I'm just saying, it's kind of like, it would be funny, but it would benefit what I'm saying is, it's hilarious that I was born when I was born, because, looking back, and I was also thinking about the movie Ghoulies, of all movies, the friggin' movie Ghoulies. It's such a cheesy movie, but the thing I like about it is this: Ghoulies is centered around, I guess you could call them so-called demons or whatever, and the thing about these little demons is they kind of reap havoc, but the thing is that in a real sense, demons actually help people. So it's kind of like, if your parents don't really understand anything, and you can't get through to anybody or anything, interacting with a demon many times can actually very much help and guide someone. I mean seriously, literally, there's things that a person cannot tell you how to do, or a person cannot tell you how to handle. A person will not be qualified by any means to really understand the totality of a complex situation or thing, or even things about yourself. They just can't do certain things that a demon can do. Okay, so that's what I'm really trying to hit at. That's my point, is that this movie is kind of, I feel like this movie clowns on everything. So this movie kind of clowns on demons, clowns on people, clowns on everything, makes everything a joke, because it's stupid. It's like it's a sort of supposed to be horror, cheesy special effects comedy movie, and had horrible sequels. I'm sorry, but I'm just keeping it real. These sequels that they made after the first one were just garbage. But the thing is this: it's kind of like, in reality, spirits can really help people, and the thing that I laugh at is that, it doesn't matter how they really seem. In the movies, they make them look like, I don't know, they make them look like little monsters, or make them look like ferocious and fiendish and all this stuff. You know, they try to make them look like scary and all, and they actually make them behave in this retarded way where they just like senselessly kill things, and it's just a gimmick. It's a gimmick that has been done to death. It's what Hollywood does. That's what Hollywood does. You know, Hollywood is a bunch of bullshit. It's really almost nothing real to Hollywood, okay? But in reality, though, okay, in reality, it's totally not like that. It's just not. You know, it's nothing like that. And honestly, furthermore, I'm going to really go into the fact of when I was raised as a Christian as a child, my parents were so, I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep it real. Don't get me wrong. I love my parents, but they were so full of shit. They were so, they have, into this day, they have things so wrong, and they had it so wrong that they actually believe their own shit. You know, they actually believe the own words that come out of their mouth because they're lost. They're very lost, you know. So I'm thinking like, man, if they only knew, they would have like they tried to steer me away from things that were anything that had to do with the occult, anything that had to do with demons, anything that had to do with anything. It's almost like anything that's exciting or anything that's interesting, they didn't want you to have anything to do with it, you know, which is kind of a recipe for disaster. Really? You know, I mean, I'm going to keep it real. Every damn thing about those people was a recipe for disaster. And when I say everything, I mean everything. I'm just keeping it real. I love them. They are who they are. But every damn thing was a recipe for goddamn disaster. Okay? I don't even know how to explain. I'm not going to go too into it, because if I explain the whole thing, it's going to take too long to even really explain what I mean by that. But I bet you somebody watching knows exactly what I mean about how everything is just disastrous. You know, no discipline. You know, no fucking discipline. That's another thing. It's like people think that discipline is an art of the so-called like discipline is the art of the so-called virtuous, or you know, or discipline is the art of like people who are angels. You know, and no discipline. And anyone can have discipline. Discipline is just a thing that you have to have in life, period. It doesn't matter if you are the evilest person or if you are the most pure-hearted person. You have to have discipline. And if you don't have discipline, you're bound to have some type of disastrous results. So that's something that, you know, no one said that. You know, they were just, they all had their heads up their asses and were just talking straight up shit. You know, just like everything had to be Christian. You know, it was, oh, God this, God that. Jesus this, Jesus that. You know, sin this, sin that. You know, it's, and in reality, it's more like, no, what you needed to really first off get a hold of is like, can you budget your money, motherfucker? Like, can you have kids and already have a stable foundation and home for them? Do you have a legacy to leave to your kids? What are you doing daily to try to acquire skills or tangible things that you can use to not only live a better life for yourself, but also pass down to your children? But instead, if you want to believe that some God that you think you serve has some hand to play, or has you, or has your kids, or you are terribly mistaken, and it's going to show. So, you know, that's what I really have to say about that. And that, you know, you can take it how you want, but I'm telling you the fucking truth. You know, they wouldn't want to hear that, but it's the damn truth. So, you know, what I'm saying is, like, discipline is discipline. You could be the softest motherfucker, you could be the hardest motherfucker, you could be as demonic as you want, or you could be as Christian as you want. But you have to have discipline, and you have to use your brain, and you have to be strategic in everything you do. Literally. You have to, just like physically, like you have to walk around like you're in a minefield, and you have to be super superior and physically sharp. You have to be the same way emotionally and mentally and spiritually in any way for you to successfully acquire anything, you know. So that's just how that is. So You know, fuck the bullshit. Like, seriously, just fuck all the bullshit. And you know, that's another thing I have to say. I like about this like whole image of this like, you know, these murderous little monster. You know, it's just murderous. You know, it's just violent and murderous. It's just, well, that's actually retarded, honestly. But the thing that what I take from that, which is actually good, is the fact of no bullshit. You know, it's like, this is no, they're not coming to play around. They're not coming to fuck around. You know, they're fucking. They're coming to do serious damage, and they're holding nothing back, and there's no hesitation. You know, there's no procrastination. There's no hesitation. It's just, it's on. You know what I mean? And that's something where, I mean, honestly, that's part of my personality. Is like, I'm a quiet person because I don't have to be loud. I'm a quiet person because I'm inactive. You know, if I'm inactive, I don't need to be active. But the thing about me is, when I jump into action, it's fucking on, and it's on and popping. You know, it's just like if I was gonna go to some girl's house, and obviously, you know, if I'm saying if I was going there to fuck, there's no fucking I'm going there to stall. I'm going there to beat around the bush. I'm going there to fucking have a conversation or try to stall time. No, I'm going in there. I'm basically kicking that door down, and I'm fucking. You know, it's like when you give a hungry dog a piece of food. A dog is not going to look at the food, you know, play around with it. No, it's going to eat. You know, so what I'm saying really is, don't be half-ass, and don't be a pussy and like pussyfoot around and like, you know, because I'm just saying that mentality is not a very it's not a very good way to handle things when you're really trying to get something done. You don't just like, you don't play around with things. Like, you don't just say, oh, you know, a kinda. It's there's no. There's no. It's no kinda. It's no, well, sorta. No. It's reality. It's this is fucking real. This is in your face, and now you're forced into a position to where you better fucking react. You know, you better do something, or it's your ass. You know, and that's life. That's reality. So, you know, people could say, oh well, you know, this is murderous. You know, that's just, it's murderous. It's vicious. You know, it's like, okay, vicious. All right, whatever. You know, it doesn't matter. The point is this. The point is, like I said, are you a fucking procrastinator? Are you a pussy motherfucker? Are you a beat around the bush person? Or do you get it fucking on and fucking popping in seconds? Or is it that you're really serious and you don't fuck around? Because that's the type of person I am. I don't fuck around. You know, when I do something, it's done. There's no fucking playing around. So the thing like about the whole satanic, demonic, the whole violent, murderous, blood and guts whole culture, if you will, because honestly, I feel like it's a culture. I feel like culturally, you know, a person like me, it's a culture. You know, you gotta understand, it's cultural. It's not just like a religious thing or a spiritual thing. It is cultural. You know, so there's a way that you handle things. Okay, there's a way that you, not saying that you have to, but I'm saying, what I'm really trying to say is, I'm trying to give you the pros and not the cons. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to tell you the pros of being so-called demonic and this and that. Okay, well, that's something I'm trying to actually explain to you people, is that, because the thing is, a lot of this stuff is very frowned upon, and it's literally so frowned upon, or so what's the word, the truths of it all is so diluted that people actually have a whole bunch of misconceptions. Okay, so people just don't understand. You know, they think that you know, if you're just a a demonic blood and guts type of person, they think that that's like like there's no what's the word? There's no discipline there. There's no self-control there. They actually have it completely wrong and get it twisted 100%. So they think, "Oh, well, what do you mean? Do you go out every night and do you get trashed? Do you do drugs all the time, or do you just have crazed, wild, unprotected sex? And it's just like you don't think about the next day, and like, are you fucking serious? Like, what do I look like to you? Do you think that I actually believe that that's actually a thing that I should do? Do you believe that that's something anyone should be doing? No, not at all. In fact, there's a lot of fucking discipline. See, the thing that people don't understand, also, I'm going to talk about that, about this whole, like, indulgence thing, this just wild, crazy, that shit, there's a time and a place, but that's totally, like, kind of an exception. It's not, that is in no way, shape, or form should be a normal thing. And I'm going to also leave you, I shouldn't even tell you this, but I'm going to tell you this for the sake of just, like, putting a little truth where people really don't speak on. Okay, so someone will look at a person like me and they'll say, "Oh, so you're one of those, like, gangster, metal, violent, demonic motherfuckers. So you're just crazy. There's just no. Literally, I know the spiritual implications. Number one, also, like, I'm going to talk about, like, sexual promiscuity. Like, the same way Christians talk about it, but it's it's the same thing. I know the implications, the type of position I could be putting myself in if I was some guy to where I could always get pussy and I always just got it and I always just chose it. That's not something you want to do, okay? Matter of fact, having a bunch of, like, sexual partners just, like, here and there and here and there, and you're always fucking, you're always doing drugs, your mind is always altered, you think everything's a fucking party, you think it's a party nonstop. Are you fucking kidding me? Do you think that me being a demonic person, me following satanic principles, do you honestly think that I have to have any less discipline than some motherfucker that calls himself a Christian? There's certain things that I can do and get away with, but you are poorly set, like, very mistaken if you think that I would be able to live a life like that. It wouldn't matter if I wasn't in this place that I am, and I had money to have hookers, drugs, guns, everything. I would still have to have so much discipline that you actually wouldn't believe it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. You wouldn't believe it. In matter of fact, I'll also say, let me ask you this, because you probably never thought of this. Do you think that a spirit or a demon that I am with, do you think that they would just say, "Oh yeah, Steve, just go fucking party"? You don't think that they have certain things that they would want me to do? There's certain things that they would try to advise me not to do. You don't think that they don't have an understanding of discipline and necessary discipline when you want to have a good time? You honestly don't understand how that works. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to tell you this. I'm trying to tell you that before you listen to the shit you see in Hollywood and the shit that you hear come out of people's mouths, before you do all that, listen to this this video, what I'm telling you right now, because that's what this video really is trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you that you actually wouldn't really know. You would never expect it. Okay, you would never expect the sheer discipline. Okay, the sheer patience, the sheer self-control that a person like me has to carry myself with in how I have to live my life. Okay, for success. You wouldn't believe it. So just because I may walk around and look crazy sometimes, and my tongue might be hanging out, and I might be literally demonic, seething as fuck, looking like a straight up demon possessed person, because I'm that crazy. I'm one of those type of people. I'm one of those, who is just wild, you know, like who, and not wild in the sense of having no self-control, but just I have that much, I guess you could say, character or charisma or power or spunk or whatever you want to call it, just running through me. You know, I'm that type. So, you know, don't judge a book by its cover is what I'm saying. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe what you see in these movies. Don't think that because a person, you know, has a more left-hand path leaning way about them, or don't think that because a person is honestly a thug, you know, it does just because you can be a thug, but this is the thing, okay? I'll keep it real. 100% I'm a thug. I will keep it real. I will keep that. I will not pretend like I, you know, won't take care of myself or handle myself in the way that I have to, okay? When I have to. Okay, I'm not going to front and act like, oh, you know, I wouldn't do this or I wouldn't do that if I had to. I'm not going to lie to you. But I'll tell you this, in the same regard, like I said, there's a certain way I have to carry myself. There's a certain way, there's things I have to do. There's things I know not to totally fucking do, like just do not do this, do not do that. And honestly, what it boils down to really is a very disciplined way of life. It's very disciplined. It's very, what's the word? How do I say this? It's very changing. It changes you. That's the thing I'm really trying to say is, like when I was saying before about how demons change you. Okay, demons will literally not, well, I don't know if I should say the word mold, but I'm saying they will literally influence you and they will put you in the right direction, point you in the right direction to actually help you. Okay, as crazy in left field as that sounds, they actually will help you and turn you into a better person if you really let them. That's the thing. If you really listen and you think outside the box and you actually say, you know, this is extremely hard, but I'm going to be disciplined enough to listen. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to actually listen. I'm going to try to hear what you're saying. I'm going to actually try to let you guide me, and they will take you places. You know, they will actually change your life. Okay? And I'm telling you this from my own experience. This is from my own personal experience. Many people, other people tell you this, but I'm just telling you my experience. That's my experience, okay? Literally things where I would actually argue someone tooth and nail on, they have a way of trying to tell you, no, actually you need to listen, you need to actually do this or you need to do that. And I'm telling you, once you actually understand that, it's not about you're scared of this or you're scared of that or you're afraid of this or afraid of that at that point. At that point, you realize that you're actually being taught something and you will actually desperately want to know more. You know, you're going to want to be guided. So, fuck the bullshit. This video is a fuck the bullshit video. Fuck all that bullshit. Fuck all that noise. Fuck all that. Oh, you know what? This is crazy. This is no. I'm sorry, but I'm giving you the rawest fucking video. I'm telling you the honest truth. You could take it or you could leave it. Okay. So really, what I'm trying to say about the Ghoulies and all these stupid ass Hollywood movies, you know, these 80s bullshit horror movies, is if it's a movie that is demon centered, it's probably a good thing at least that someone out there watched it and they thought it was cool. They were like, oh, that's just kind of cool. You know, I like that. You know, you got these little things running around. They're like helping you do little tasks. They're almost like they're almost like the Dobby character in the friggin' Harry Potter. Like they're like literally, you know, doing little tasks and there are these little things. It's like, and honestly, you know, if you even just grasp the aspect of just that simple concept of being aided by something that you necessarily don't understand, or something that you maybe can't see, or something that scares you, or something that honestly it intimidates you, but at the same time, you know, it's like trying to help you, then if you can grasp that, you have grasped something that so many people just cannot grasp. They can't wrap their head around it. They're scared. They don't know how to even approach it. They don't know. They have no hold on it. And you know, sorry for them. You know, that's you got the short end of the stick if you can't grasp that. So I think I'm gonna cut the rant there. Might as well just cut it right there. You know. So this is your host, Steve from the back. This has been, I wouldn't even call this, a lot of times I call it a buck wild and crazy rant. This was just truth. This was nothing buck wild or crazy. This is just truth. This is reality. This is truth. Okay? This is not the bullshit. This is not the Christian bullshit that you're used to hearing. I'm sure you're sick of it. Like, how the fuck can you even listen to that shit for any longer? It's so mainstream. It's just so nonsense. It's almost comical, man. And I have to say, I bet a lot of people of you have like parents, siblings, maybe even a significant other or something, and you really just know deep down in every part of your being that half of the shit they say is nothing but shit coming out of their mouth. It's like you literally look at them and you're thinking, you are so full of shit that you just don't even know it. You're full of shit. And you don't know it. That's the scary thing. You don't know that you're full of shit. You believe it. You actually believe it. You know, it's one thing if you don't believe your bullshit and you just like to be stupid and talk shit. But imagine you believing the shit that you actually speak. So, you know, it is what it is. So it is what it is. Hit the bell button, hit the like button, leave a nice comment. This is Steve's Art and Fun channel. This is Going in Rants. I don't even know what I'm going to title this fucking video. I don't even know what I'm going to title it. You know, I really don't know. I have no clue what I'm going to title this, because a lot went into this. I'm sure I'll figure something out. This is not scripted. None of this shit is scripted. This is just me ranting, telling the fucking truth. And I will say this. I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Now, there's going to be a lot of motherfuckers that said, oh, they had a little opinion, right? Because people always got fucking little opinions. Well, I think this, and I think that. And what you said was this, and what you said was that, right? But listen here, motherfucker. I will say this again. When you see me in a happy place, and I'm in a nice relationship with a beautiful woman, and everything is running smooth, and you see how happy I am, you see my success, you wonder, what did you do to get there? You know, you're miserable, or whatever the fuck you are. Maybe you're not miserable, but whatever the fuck you are, you know, you're like, how the fuck did he get there? You're like, how did he? Well, I won't have to say shit. I'm a person, I don't really say much anyway. I'm like a wild fucking animal. I'm like one of those monsters you see out of the movie that just walks around and doesn't really speak. You know, I can speak, but I won't. I don't need to. I don't want to. You know, I'd rather be all physical and no speak. You know, all crazy and quiet at the same time. So that's the way I am. You know, I won't say anything. You know, I would rather just let people just watch and wonder, oh, how did you get here? Well, obviously things happen a certain way. Like I said, discipline, discipline, discipline. Okay, just saying. You know, if you have no fucking discipline, and if you have no fucking spine, you are a worm. Okay, you are a worm. You're a worm. And you're not doing shit. You're not doing nothing. So I don't give a fuck if I wasn't even doing nothing. If I wasn't doing nothing, at least I would still have to have discipline over that. Which means, like, simply, I'd have to get up in the morning, fucking shower, obviously. You know, it's like they're just things you have to do. You know, because you have to have discipline, okay? But if you want to be a fucking a wet noodle or a fucking wet rag that ain't worth shit, then have no discipline then, because that's what you're gonna be. So, like, comment, and sub. This is Steve's Art and Fun channel. This is Going in Rants. I know I repeated myself, but I had to add more onto that. I hope you took something from this video, and if you're someone who understands this shit, and you're not just someone who's like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, if you actually understand what the fuck I'm actually talking about, then share this video, you know, and share it on a platform where it's people that at least have the right type of ears to hear what the fuck I'm saying, because if you don't, I just wasted my fucking breath, and you wasted your time. You wasted your time watching this video. Okay. So, good luck to you, you know, and hope you enjoyed. Maybe you just laughed at the video. It wasn't even that funny, in my opinion. I didn't really make that many jokes, you know. I may have kind of clowned on my parents a little bit, and you know, sorry you guys if you hear this video, but I clowned on you a little bit. But I'm sure you probably think a lot of things about me, so, you know, whatever. But, you know, have a nice day.